that's adding a whole nother element to it. You say 50 meetings. I would say I haven't been inside a house probably since June. I think June was the last time I actually went inside, which is good and bad. But I think it's more good because now you're outside. That's where all of our product pretty much goes. And now I can use things like Hover and Leap and the products we have outside with the homeowner instead of just sitting there at the table.
So what do you think, besides, like, do you use Zoom often? Just question, like, every third, fourth, fifth, sixth appointment? Do you utilize that?
Yeah, I actually, it's funny you asked that too, because now it's becoming more of a regular where I'll send an email and people want to talk and they actually are getting more comfortable with talking face to face through Zoom, where at first they weren't very comfortable because it's very hard to put yourself on a camera and see yourself and talk, right? So, but now it seems it's the norm and people feel more comfortable. They're more open to tell you and show you things through that way, because I think you lose that, oh, this person's hovering over me this whole time aspect. It actually became a more comfortable way to have a conversation and talk than even in person did sometimes.
So Grant, same question for you with your guys. Are there some that are, yourself included, utilizing a Zoom environment more and more regularly nowadays, being more common? I know that these questions are boring as hell, and I'm typically not a boring guy at all. I just want to make sure we're setting the bar right now to figure out. We know we have to go digital presentation, and we're just so used to doing hands-on stuff. So, Grant, I'm going to ask you that question though. Have you seen more trends that customers are wanting to have you maybe have a consult before you go out digitally?
We've offered the option, to, I guess, offer it to our customers. Believe it or not, actually, a lot of them have not opted to do it, which is kind of nice for us because I think, we still like to offer that, that in-home personal feeling. I think it's a lot easier to close, obviously, in person than it is online. If they want, they can obviously just shut you off. I don't know if, we haven't done enough to have that happen yet. So,
Yeah, you totally don't. Okay.
but yeah, I mean, for us, we've done some outside stuff, like Chris kind of talked about. We've had sales guys where, maybe they didn't let us in the house. And obviously, every time we go to a customer's house, we always, wear a mask right away. And it's up to the discretion of the homeowner and the salesperson if they do or don't, I guess, wear one. Obviously, still using precautions and stuff like that, keeping distance, whatever. But yeah, I mean, we haven't seen a whole lot of change on our end as far as utilizing the Zoom. Like I said, we've used it maybe a handful of times, but outside of that, that's been really about it. So I think kind of depends on your demographic too, where you're at. I think everywhere is a little bit different. Obviously, rules and regulations are a little bit different everywhere you go. So I think everyone's way of doing it is going to be a little bit different. So.
Yeah, you think in North Dakota we'd be a little bit more frightened by the statistics on how many people are getting the disease, but yeah, we're dumb enough to just let her happen, right?
Yep.
So, just want to set it up with that Zoom part first. So, anybody else that wants to throw their comments in the chat, I'd be happy to, add that feedback to what we're doing. Or if you guys wanted to get unmuted yourself and tell us a little bit about what's going on with you. We just wanted to take the first 10 minutes to kind of go through some of the different trends that we're seeing with doing a digital presentation versus doing an in-home consult right now. I'll keep on looking at the chat, see if anybody throws some in. But what do you think, Chris or Grant, the most important, how do I say this? The best way to try to bring the in-home experience with a digital consult. Now, Chris, you were in the meeting with me when you and Michael, myself, Steve was on the call, and Zach, and we were talking about possibly sending out not a care package, but an ABC package along to maybe build some value of what our product entails. Do you want to speak a little bit on that, or will you?
Yeah. So what we're kind of talking about, and
Okay.
like we said, this is new to everybody. So we literally have brainstorm sessions every single week about the new aspects and what we want to do. And you got to throw mud at the wall and see what sticks. And one of the things we were worried about losing was that contact, because a lot of ours is here, feel this product, and here is our product. Here's how much better our product is, and getting it into the hands of the customers. How do you do that through a digital presentation? Well, the one thing we came up with was sending a small care package to clientele. If we're going to go to a site and we're going to pitch siding and steel roofing and gutters to them, why not send them a portion of the gutter and a piece of our steel and whatnot? And then as we talk about it, what we're holding, they're actually holding there. And what we're showing them through the computer, they actually still have in their hands. So that kind of would help give them the aspect of that selling process of touching and seeing how much better our product is. I think it's a good route. We got to hammer some things out of how we're going to do it in the aspects, and it's a timing thing, right? Of getting it to the homeowner before we arrive there and whatnot, and shipping and everything. However, that's the only way you can really get people to touch the product and see what it is if you're doing everything digital. So, and which is for us, with 60% of our stuff in Minnesota right now, it looks like it's going that route with us not being able to actually go to people's homes or past their driveway. So it's going to be interesting.
So a big part of this presentation, the meetings here, is adapting to the environment, and that's really what we're trying to do here. So we're trying to bring we're being pushed in the digital direction a lot faster than what a lot of us would have liked, even though a lot of us do enjoy doing the stuff digitally and online. Just for fun, I think the guy's name is Eric Wan that are basically created Zoom back in 2010 or 11. And the reason why he created it is because he didn't want to talk to people. He didn't want to be actually face to face in their same environment. So that company, bought for like $50 million, is worth over $4 billion now. I think it's up to like almost $430 on the NASDAQ right now per trade. So that guy's smart.
I don't know if he got out of his basement.
Probably. But here's the thing is, like, the reason why I say that is because people see these things, and that's how they, create things or websites or new applications or whatnot, is because it's a need. Right now, it is a need for us to try to pursue different ways to sell. And that's a big part of having this. It's a tech training, of course, for anybody that wants to learn more about anything. That's why we set aside 2 hours to go through. I want to learn more about Hover. I want to learn more about Leap. I want to learn more about how to use Zoom, stuff like that. For everybody out there, this needs to benefit you. You guys would not be on the call today if it wasn't going to be benefiting you. And that's the big part of this. So I'm going to shut up, and we're going to have actually right away. The best way to utilize this is to do a pretend sales presentation. So I'm going to call on right away. I'd like to call on Chris. Would you please pull up I'm Mr. and Mrs. Jones. I'm not Mrs. Jones, but I'm Mr. Jones, and I would like to see my house with Hover on it. So I'm going to make you the host right now. So right now the plan is to go through Hover, and then after that we're going to go through a quick scenario with Leap, and then right after we do the Leap thing, Grant, you wanted to show something, right?
Yes.
We're going to do that. I forgot what it was already because I haven't slept that much lately. Yeah, like a couple hours here and there. But let's do Chris, then let's do Grant, and then it's always open for questions in the chat. So any comment, any question, just throw it in the chat and we will make sure it gets addressed, okay?
Sounds good.
You are now the host, my brother.
All righty.
And then will you just tell us what you're doing while you're doing it?
Yep. So Scotty made me the host. So essentially what I have here is through Zoom, you go to hit the share screen button. When you hit share screen, it literally gives you the option. You can share the screen that you're on. You can pick whatever screen you're at, or if you have your iPad as well, which I'm on right now, that's what I'm sharing. You can share your iPad to your Zoom screen.
So we just went through this, but is this functionality with the basic, or not even the basic, the free package? Or do you need to purchase Zoom to have access to showing this and your camera at the same time?
Yes, we found out you have to purchase the advanced package. It's $14.99 a month or $129 for the year. But you have to have it to be able to share this and share your external components. Essentially, you can share whatever you want from your computer screen. However, if you want to share your iPad or your iPhone, and vice versa, you have to pay for the upgraded version. With that being said, this is the initial page of Zoom. I like to look at Zoom. Zoom to me is the pizzazz of our pitch. It is the moment that you sit down or you
mean
show
Hover,
to-
right? Just making sure.
Or Hover, yeah, Hover. Sorry, not Zoom. My bad.
It's okay. I love you.
It's the moment where once you pull it up, you tell people about it for about 30 minutes, and then the next thing you know, you pull it up and you start to show them the aspects and what it does, and it's where you get all your oohs and ahs from the homeowner. You get some oohs and ahs from the product itself, but this starts to blow their mind. It's because they've never seen it before. So the way I start, I show the initial page here. We go through. We actually have to take photos, so I'm going to go back to the beginning here to the front side. So if you do need to do a new one there, it'll give you this whole page that'll pop up. You enter in their property information, their address, the name. You'll end up taking 8 photos. Those 8 photos will transition into these photos here. So you always get a front photo, and then it'll go to the corners. And sometimes you're not able to get the exact area, but it can transfer the side, the right side, back of the house.
So really, you're only taking about 8 photos on most properties,
8
corner
photos
and
and
straight shots.
Correct. And with Hover, it's actually updated now to where it'll let you know. It used to just say that photo wasn't good enough, please take another photo. Now it'll keep the photo you have, and it'll actually give you a suggestion of a better angle to shoot the next photo from, and it'll add it in while you're taking those same set of photos. So you don't actually have to go out and switch to your other camera and hit add photo. It'll actually ask you to do it from a different angle right there live. It used to take about 24 hours to process the photos and get us all the information. Now it's looking like it's about 2.5, 3 hours until it's all processed and done. From those photos, we get this incredible aspect. It comes out and you get a quick summary real quick. You'll see the top photo of their house. It gives you their address. It says the 3D model is complete. I don't go to the 3D model until after I show them some other aspects, which is in the measurement area. You'll see this measurement summary. It does a full breakdown real quick. It just says your total roof squares are 33 squares on the house. Your steep pitch is 712. Your total siding squares is 24 3/4, and the number of openings and windows, that's at the plus 18%, is 54 squares. So we open that up, the PDF up, and this is where you start to blow everybody's mind, because you tell them, we're going to get every aspect of your house. We're going to get all your measurements of your siding, all your measurements of your windows, all of your openings, all of your gutters, all of your soffit, all of your fascia, all of your roof. And they look at you like you're crazy because you did that off of 8 photos. Then you start showing them what's going on. Now, they're not going to understand a lot of what you say, so it's not always great to give them a ton of information. But it's better to hit quick points. So when you come to this first page, this is more for our use than it is for the homeowner's use. But we just say, this is all your openings, your areas. This is the quick measurements. We fly out of that, and then we go right to the roof summary. Here's a summary of your whole entire roof. This is all your measurements of your roof. They're like, okay, what's going on now? You fly through, we get a footprint of your house. People are losing their mind. Next thing, this is funny to me because I show them the gutters. I say, here's all your gutters on your house. Now this is a simple shot of the gutters. This is what the gutters are on the house: 2 runs, 2 downspouts. People are absolutely mind blown about a gutter page. It's crazy because now they're kind of hooked. They're like, wait a second, it drew the gutters out on my house. It could recognize where they are. Well, I recognize that. It also come down, and now we're gonna get all of your soffit and all of your fascia. Here's every aspect, and it's color coded. So for me, the color coding doesn't work because I am colorblind red-green. So I have to very much pay attention to where certain things are and ask questions sometimes in the office of Scotty of, or Michael or anybody else who's here and say, hey, this is this color here and this one matches up here. And you can kind of tell off of the depth where the size is and whatnot.
You mind if I
Now we
interrupt for a
go-
second?
Go ahead, bud.
So so you guys know that is the design. I know a lot of you guys on the call have used Hover, so we're not going to spend more than 10 minutes on it. But here's the thing. Those pages that you see, the gutter one and the soffit and fascia one have been basically released this year. So that's the thing is like they're getting better at what they do. But as far as their expenditures, it hasn't been on designing landscapes or making it more pretty on their end. It's been going after the insurance market. So right now, a lot of insurance companies are using the Hover directly associated with the job for their numbers when they're having hail damage or storm damage or fire damage. Thanks, Chris.
You bet. Last thing I tend to show, and I just show it really quickly, is I show them the measurements. I say, here's all the measurements of your house, and I pick a point. I'll just go to the gable and I'll zoom in and say, it gives me every aspect. It shows me the window. And I say, the window, you see how it says W5? That gives me, I can now jump past all of this, I fly down to the windows and I show them we have actually every single window.
Hey, Chris, I got to interrupt you again. I forgot to tell you, the host, you got to admit the people that are waiting. We got about
I'm sorry.
three others. So if you just pull up that window, make sure we let people in.
We got a lot of people waiting. There we go. All
Thanks,
right.
bud.
Everybody's there we go. All right. So now I'm showing them their windows and their doors. So we have every aspect. They're locked in. So once we get them locked in, what's the biggest thing to show them that they want to see? They want to be able to change their house. They want to be able to see what they can do, what colors they can pull up. I like to take a lot of time on this portion because this is where they're going to fully decide everything for their home, because I like to show them and I have them pull it up on their phone as well so that I can show them how they can do it at the house also. With every aspect of changing the siding to our ABC stuff. Let's do colonial, and let's make this charcoal gray because that seems to be the biggest.
Make sure it's
here.
Make sure it's duck mat too, because the plan is
yep.
to take off fairly soon to take off pretty much all the PVC applications, just because we know that Edco's kind of getting rid of them. And then to hopefully expand and get better definition on the roofing on the shake ends and the gable ends, and then the doors and the windows and stuff like that. So that's the plan where we're going in the next year.
Now, some people, the big thing that I've noticed, you can keep control of this diagram yourself. And it's very simple because people are like, oh, well, if they get on their phones, they're just going to do whatever they want and they won't ever come to us and ask again. All you have to do is show them what they can't do on their phone, and they have to go through you. And what they can't do on their phone when they're designing is they can't do the select feature. They can't select, they can't hit and redesign to certain aspects that they want to change. Once you show them that and that you can do that and we can change elevations and everything, now they're going to always come to you and say, oh, I want my gable switched here. I want this switch there. I want the trim on these windows. That's how I kind of keep control over the 3D model as well. And I tell them, you're never bugging me. Send me an email, give me a call. If you need different colors, you want to see different things, and I can send it to them through their phone. So it's always coming back. So that's kind of my quick run through of what I do there for Hover. And it just, that 3D model is what locks them in. That's what we tend to end up having most of the conversation about. I do get a lot of people asking if they can get copies of their measurements and everything. I don't tend to release that ever. But other than that, color, as we all know, is the hardest thing to get locked in. So that's why that 3D model is so huge, is once we get that color, once I have them locked in on the color, selling it to them is already done. So
you touched on a lot of great things there, because I want to see my house designed. I want to see what it looks like. However, you still have the control of the communication between to get that to the homeowner. And as long as you're communicating during the sales and marketing process, people trust you, right? I mean, they're expecting you to provide this information to them, right?
correct. And it just reassures, because I like to reassure my clients, I'm your one-stop shop. That's our thing, right? I'm never going to make them call anybody else, talk to anybody else. They have a question on it, they're always calling me. I'm the guy that's going to take care of them, help them, show them, explain to them how amazing their house is going to be and how low maintenance. My other big side with using this is once this is on, you're just going to have to wash the spider webs off the building. So.
One question came in. I'll take this one. It's a good question. We've dabbled with this right away. A lot of customers want to see 6-inch versus like a 3 or 333 or 444 or 444 application. Right now, 6 is the standard. That's what we have in there. And I don't think that probably the functionality of that would be after we get the ability to add shakes in the gables and then do some sort of ornamental or landscape design with that. So I would say that that's probably going to be down the road, but it might be a year or two. As typically technology companies say it's going to be a year, but it's usually 2 or 3. So,
right. And also to add off of that, Scott, in talking with Hover as well, they used to not be able to pull up a 3D model if the house didn't have siding on it. If it was just the OSB board or if it was just the insulation on it, they have adapted now, and now they can pull the full 3D model even if you take photos and there's no siding on and those are on there. So
I'll need to get done because I'm getting a lot of echo.
So.
I'm trying to mute him, but I can't. So
who is that?
Sorry. Oh, you got to mute him.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So that's a quick run through of Hover. Grant, I know you use it a lot with your guys training. Is there something you'd like to add to that maybe we're missing? Basically, it's just like Jerry Byers, Ted Franzen, same conversations I have with both of them. If you don't build value to something, there's no value there. So how much value can you build by offering someone something that they have never been offered before? And that's the big thing here. Grant, do you have something to say on that?
Well, I mean, I think anytime you're incorporating Hover, I mean, obviously it allows you to, get the customer to own the project, getting them involved. So it's more than just, going through the presentation and, differentiating yourself from your competition. Once you've done that, now you can take that next step and actually get them to own it. That's kind of them buying into what you're selling. And so for us, it's been an awesome tool. A lot of times, we'll have people come in the showroom, even, maybe after we've already initially been to their house, or maybe we'll just go out to their house and just do kind of a quick little preview and then, kind of take the photos and then have them come into the showroom. That way we can go through the presentation, show them the Hover, and then obviously to kind of design their house, how they'd like to see it. I do have a couple examples if anyone wants to see how creative you can kind of get with Hover that I pulled up.
Let's take a look at them.
Okay.
Scott, I made you the host again, by the way. So.
All right, bud. Thanks.
Yep.
Should be good, GB.
Okay. Just gonna admit somebody here. Okay, so do this. Okay.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that's what ours looks like too.
Here once. I might have to drag this to a different screen. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see this right now or not, but if you can, let me know. So this is a house that we just recently did over the summer.
We could
So
see.
here was the initial design, and I kind of wanted to point out the back of the house because this had a lot of unique features. Obviously, with all these windows and stuff in here, it was kind of cool. And from the river, So this house just sits right on the Missouri River here in town, on the north side of town. And we wanted to do something kind of cool that made the house stand out. So, you know, when you're driving by on your boat or whatever, or even if you're sitting in the backyard, you know, it's kind of more of a design piece, not just, you know, putting siding on a house. And so what we did on this bump out here was did some vertical siding, put some shakes up in the gable ends, and then there's actually a couple roof line gables here that's kind of intertwined. And then we did a kind of a cool divider piece. The only thing that I wish we maybe would have done is wrap these windows in T-tone, and I wasn't sure how that was going to work because as you can see in between these windows here, there's not a ton of room for the siding, so I thought it was going to get too crowded and be too much. But the end project turned out pretty sweet. So then this is taken from the top. It's a little blurry, but this is taken from the lift that we had rented when we were hanging the siding. So
Yeah, and I see what you did there was you used some generic shakes to at least give them the idea.
yep.
of the
So,
visual.
and I can't remember, I think it's because we have obviously the outside window in our portal. So basically what I did, or in our hover portal, so what I did is I just used like a generic shake that kind of matched the color, just to kind of improvise and get them an idea of kind of the look and feel that they were going to end up, you know, with when it was all said and done. So there's ways that you can be creative and around it. Honestly, if you call Hover, they can add a lot of different product lines. And obviously once you add, let's say, so if you sell the AMI window, once you add that, it adds everything that AMI offers. And unfortunately, there's no way around that. So lucky for us, it comes in handy once in a while with stuff like this, just because obviously we don't have our shade colors in there yet. So, so yeah, you can definitely improvise and kind of still get them that look that they're looking to do. So, let's see here. I do have one more that I can share too. I've shared this at other meetings before. So this is, let's see where we at here. So this is another house that we did in Mandan here. And basically, again, I'm just kind of showing, you know, what the Hover showed, and then obviously kind of the end product. For full disclosure, I did kind of edit the coloring on this a little bit when I posted online, just to kind of get to pop a little bit more. And I think I actually did a little edit on the Hover as well, just because it kind of depends what kind of a computer screen it's on, will kind of determine the color cues that, you know, like I took a screenshot of this, so it's not quite exact, but it's pretty close. But I mean, as you can see, once it's all done, I mean, it's almost exact to how she had designed it and envisioned it. So it's pretty cool. So, but stuff like this really allows the customer to own the project. You know, when they can physically, you know, take Hover and they can design their house exactly how they want it. You know, from a sales standpoint is fantastic, because, you know, I mean, how many other people or how many other companies are going to do this for them? And I'm sure there's maybe other people out there, but man, if you guys can really take the time to learn the system and understand, you know, how to do some of these things. And it definitely takes a little time to, you know, split up these walls, you know, to get that differentiation, but, you know, spend a couple hours with it, and yeah, you'll be amazed at what you can do with this thing. So
to jump in that point, a lot of our customers that get the Hover for us before we go out there to sell are we invite them. So right now, Caitlin will send an invite out to Mr. and Mrs. Jones in Glenwood, Minnesota, and they'll actually take the pictures for us. Grant, would you show us how you would invite a homeowner to capture the property for us?
yeah, I can do that. So
And the big value behind this is what Grant already said. He said, you know, if someone's tied more to your company because of something extra that you offer besides the product, there's more value there. So in the case of this, if someone's willing to go out and Chris and I were just talking about this with one of our sales reps that is no longer there, going out and taking a Hover in 3 feet of snow and getting their property ready, do you not think that they're going to spend at least half an hour to an hour with you talking about the project if they're willing to do that? So just keep that in the back of your mind. If they're willing to take pictures of their property to get something in return, do you not think that they're going to want to actually visit with you on it?
Yeah, and to that point, I mean, that's another really great way to get the customer to own the project, or, you know, kind of get invested, obviously, in taking that next step, and obviously, hopefully making a sale for you guys. You know, I actually used to do that when I work home shows. I would actually, if the customer wasn't, you know, someone that was willing to give me the information and sign up for an appointment right away at the show, what I would do is I would say, hey, you know, if I can send you this invite, you know, we can build a 3D rendering of your home. You can see what our products are going to look like on it for you. And then for me, I can go back and look and say, oh, okay, John and Mary actually went in and, you know, built out their hover. And the cool thing is when you're sending these invites, you have to get their phone number, email address, and address. So now you have all their contact information to contact them after the fact, after they've done the hover, and then follow up with them to actually set that appointment. You know, so you're really just creating that urgency, and it kind of takes away that, you know, obviously people don't want to give you the information. So like, oh, you're just going to call and spam me or whatever. Right. So it kind of breaks that barrier, which is really nice. Before we kind of get into the sending the invite, I just want to show you guys this really quick. This is a house that I did up on Lake Skakawea. And as you can see, like these evergreen trees along the side of the house here, actually, this was the garage. You would think that Hover would send back and say, hey, there's no way we can do this because we can't see what this wall is. So I just kind of wanted to show how many pictures I had, you know, that I had taken. But yeah, I mean, it rendered this thing no problem. So that's the thing. Anytime you have something really difficult like this, just add more photos, and I guarantee you it'll go through. You know, sure, we've had a few that have failed, but in my opinion, the ones that have failed when we've submitted them are the ones that we didn't take those extra photos on. So get creative, you know, change the way you're holding the camera, kind of like Chris said earlier. Now they have the feature where it'll actually tell you what to do, which is really nice. It didn't do that before. But yeah, just, I mean, if you have to take 20 photos, whatever the case may be, you know, do it. It's definitely worth to do when you're out there initially, so you don't have to go back and do it later. So we'll go back into the home page here. So if I want to invite a homeowner for a capture, all I got to do is just invite. You're going to select the recipient, and then I'm just going to send one to myself. And dogs.
So when you're sending this invite, how do you get it back again? Do they get the email, they download the app, they get the text, they download the app, and then they take the pictures for you? What's up?
Yep. So what's going to happen here, and actually what I can do is I will share my phone screen with you.
Careful.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll just do it this way.
And I know a lot of you guys have done this, but I don't think you've done it so much to where you feel comfortable with it. It works fantastic. We've been doing it. Hooked up with Hover back in 2015. Probably 60% of our customers take the photos for us.
Oh, that's in the way. Okay, so what I'll do is we'll jump in here then. So it's going to send me basically a text message like you guys are seeing here. And all I have to do is basically click into this link. Now, if the customer doesn't have the Hover app, it's going to have them download the app on their phone. So what I always recommend customers to do, I said, once you download the app, go back into your text messages and then click the link again, because if they don't do that, I've had an issue sometimes where it won't put them under our account. And then basically they're just like a general Hover user, which people can take hovers on their own. So I always recommend people go back, click on the link again, and then it's going to automatically pull them up to this page here. And then that way they can start taking the photos right away. It assigns them to our account, so that way they can use only ABC products, which is obviously what you guys want to do. You know, so it's obviously to you. And yeah, it's really simple. And like I said, now that, you know, they've added these features where it actually step by step tells you what to do and how to take the photos, it's even easier for homeowners now to capture those on their own. So, but yeah, I mean, it's super simple.
Thank you, buddy.
Yep.
Now we're just going to keep moving on pretty quick. I don't see anything new questions coming out on this stuff.
Okay.
So Hover, we're good for now. We're going to have a presentation in the next couple of days on Hover as well. Chris, would you mind, Grant, will you give control to Chris and let him show just the basics of Leap for 5 minutes, showing we've got these numbers and how you utilize putting those numbers in to figure out what the cost is for the homeowner and the savings time. It saves us half an hour, 45 minutes to an hour with each homeowner now. If we've got the numbers from Hover provided, and that lets us spend that extra time on the customer, right?
Yep.
Excuse me.
My host now. So what's happening? All right.
So Chris is just going to show us what Leap would look like. And then if anybody wants one-on-ones with us on how we use ours, no problem. I know I've got a couple requests and one of them's on the line right now. Brandon, how are you, buddy? To show us or to give access to see how our system works. And right now, basically we're showing you the estimate portion to where Chris knows that back on the 30th November, he visited with Dave and Mary Winkles. Go ahead, Chris.
Yep. So visited with them, and there's a couple things here. So when I go to the appointment, this is the page that I get the appointment from. You get the address, the information. If you hit the info button here to the right of the car, we get a couple little notes for what we can expect. We're going there for wraps. We have the wraps for the garage and for the front door. So kind of have a little aspect of what we're going for. You can see down here, I already have the lead result and the wraps and the price and everything. But that's not normally there because I haven't had the appointment yet. Out of that, click on it. We get all their information, obviously. And we go into their page.
Just so you guys know, just to interrupt again, this stuff is tied directly from the information that you put into Market Sharp, which 90% of you on the call use Market Sharp, and I don't work for them. I just know that once an integration is made and automation is made, it's very easy to continue with the same company. And in this case, we set an appointment up in Market Sharp. It comes directly over to Leap. You sell a job, a contract, appointment, a result, it comes directly back to the CRM for our analytics.
So another thing I like to point out is I don't ever show the homeowner really this app or this page. This is for me. The way they're going to hear about certain things is from my mouth or what I'm writing down on paper or emailing to them and showing them. So just another way I kind of control it and whatnot. This is my tool. This is my advantage, I guess you could say, to a degree. But like we said, they were doing wraps on their door, but let's say they were doing siding. So on the siding portion, big things you got to find is are we going over the top of the siding or are we tearing the siding off? So let's say we're tearing siding off. So we're in the siding, first one, we got 23 squares, let's say, of siding, single story. Scroll down and we got siding tear off of 23 because that's how much we're putting on. Where this is at our 18%, obviously. Is there gable vents? You got to look for certain aspects. This is where the hover comes into play too, because you can go jump back and forth and pull up photos, see if the hover's there. You can walk around the house, take certain photos. I'm a big photo taker. I take 35 to 50 photos on every home I'm at, whether no matter how small the job is, the more photos I have, the better description I can give to my install guys as well. But we're wrapping the doors. There's no specific, oh, let's wrap the doors. We have our wrapping sizes, right? So we're going to wrap single window. There's no build out on it, so I don't have to do a fur out and wrap. On this particular house, it was a front door with 2 window panels on the side, plus a 2-car garage stall and a 3-car garage stall. So we were at 8 wraps for that, or 7 wraps, I'm sorry. And so we'll put that on there just for those. But then you have to, let's say because we're doing the whole house on this one, just for say there was 23 different windows as well. So now we're at 30 wraps because we're doing everything. Have everything there. There wasn't any pillars or beams to wrap. Come out of there, and we have our initial book price of $43,617. Now, this is our price, total, tax, and everything. The biggest function now is you can hit the bottom here, you can hit, and it'll start taking 5% off for you, 10%. A lot of you know this, a lot of you use this. The way I use this, I don't just tell people, oh, at 5% it'll be this, or at 10% it'll be this. I work in different discounts based on what I need the homeowner to do, what I want them to do, what's gonna be best for them. I was explaining to a sales guy the other day, I write all these numbers down myself, and I have them all myself, so I know what I'm at 5%, 15%, 25%. I know right now it's 37,074 at 15%, but at 25 it's 32,713. That gives me a fluctuation of about $5,000 in there that I can kind of play with. If I know, okay, I'm going to lock them in, I'm going to be somewhere between 15 and 25 as I'm talking to them and figuring out the money aspect, knowing what my numbers are. And this is before even financing is an option. I'm kind of in between, seeing where we're at, and knowing, okay, these guys, they're not going to be at the 43. However, if I can make it worth their while and we can get them down, and for some reason they're thinking, and you can get them to say, oh yeah, we're about 35. That's kind of what we were thinking in the aspect ways. Now we have something to work with. Now we're at numbers and in between. We can work financing in, and the whole shebang. It gives us such a quick advantage to do it right there. The other thing that sells it here and gives us that advantage is that it's an accurate dollar investment. Just emphasize, this is what it's going to be. This is where it's going to be. The price isn't ever going to go up. So, we're not just going to give you this and then come to work and be there for 7 days and go, oh, by the way, because we were here so long, it's an extra $1,500 and whatnot. So it gives that extra credibility to our product and to our standard. Like, this is where our price is. This is what we're at. This is how we build it.
And that's to each of your own franchisees to set your prices. However, where do you go someplace now other than like a trade show and event, and they write out a price and you sign it? I mean, it's all electronic. We've been doing this for, I think, the first pricing system we had back in 2008, 2009. And the thing is, it spits out information that, okay, the book price is this. How am I going to argue with that? So it's more trustworthy, I guess, in the best word. With this, Chris, before you show anything else on this, will you actually go to the results part, show that, and then after you do that, show the email?
Sure. So let's go to results. Let's just save for.
And this, just remember, this is tied directly to your CRM. So when Chris does this, it will show up directly under this customer in your CRM, which we'll probably have to adjust if it's made up, but it's worth a trial.
So hit the results on the bottom right. Now you have 2 options. Did we sell it or did we not sell it? For this aspect, I'm going to keep it as no sale, just so we don't mess up the numbers too bad there, Scotty. You have a couple options: daily no result, demo no sale, no demo, rescheduled. Demo no sale is the number one. If you were in front of somebody, but you didn't sell it, but you left it, that's the one we go to. Now, why was that? Well, bid request normally, or a one-legger. I don't ever put not interested because I don't believe people are not interested, because if we're there, they're interested.
The more information you have as marketing people, advertising, sales, the more information you have, the better chance that you can combat that and use a strategy behind it.
Let's say we got them locked in at 35,000. And then in my notes portion, I just put husband wasn't there, was not there to write check. No. So we sold it, but he wasn't there to write me the check, right? So that's done there. I actually put a lot more notes in there. I put everything from if there's, I put notes here that are interesting things about the house. If we're gonna do like what Grant was showing, where on those windows they were putting that special pillar in between the windows and stuff like that. Anything unique that we're gonna do, I'll throw in these notes too, because it'll be in my notes of my contract as well. But this is just another area, so that way we have everything written down. It's always good. The more information, the better, as Scotty said. So then we'll just save it, and all of a sudden it brings us back to this screen. It pens, and then we go to the mail, and let's see how quickly it takes for it to get here.
One thing I was just going to add to what you guys can do from an installer's perspective, you could do two things. You can print off pictures of the hover, or you can actually take of the saved design, or you can take screenshots of the saved design, like right on your iPad, and print those off. That way, when you have installers that go out to the house, it saves them a lot of time. It's a lot of from asking questions. There's no more gray area, because it's like, here's the picture of how it's going to look.
And of course, it's taking forever. We can just pull up another results page here, though.
I got it.
So this is what, so the email, I bet you did get it, Scotty. So this is kind of how the email comes back to us at the sales. It just tells us the whole breakdown really quick, any notes that were in there. This one, as you can see, I put in a note I have to bring a paper copy to them for their HOA meeting. That's just a reminder note for me. When I do that too, I'll put notes into or emails into my calendar, so it'll remind me, because I have a lot of stuff going on. I don't always remember everything, but it gives us the full breakdown. It shows us how many squares, how many wraps, how far away it is, the price, and where we were. So the book price is there, and then what the last price offered was. That's kind of how quickly that comes. Do you want me to show the contract too, Scott, or no?
I don't think we have to go through that, but that would
Okay.
be, I just wanted to spend about an hour on the leap and hover and then go through some other stuff. So
Yeah.
we
The
can
other
set
thing,
up one-on-ones though with myself or Grant or Chris. We'd be happy to set up with you to show you the stuff. So
yeah, and I mean, there's a lot to it. Like Scott said, I've been here since May, and I will tell you, every single week,
April.
me and Scotty have a conversation about Leap, about either something that I didn't see in there that I'd like to see in there, and he'll say, "Oh no, it's here, but you got to go here," and we'll figure that out. Or we're creating and adding new stuff to it as well. So it's always growing, I guess you could say, as well. So
Yeah, you want to show the resources for a quick minute?
yep.
So basically, this is where we house all of our information right now. Now, the next couple of days, you'll see the new digital sales presentation tomorrow. So that might be a little bit different, but we're still planning on utilizing Leap and most of its resources. So the digital presentation will be just a separate link, but ultimately Leap and Hover and the new digital presentation will be the main sources that we use for our sales and marketing processes.
And these resources are good. I use these every time, because I do come out with colors and the swatches and whatnot, but people want to see photos. And the big one, I mean, and I'm sure everybody sees it, is, you get, because you're going to go into Hover before this and whatnot too, is Hover transformations in here, before and after photos. There's just different aspects of roofs and whatnot that you can show people there live that they just wouldn't get otherwise. So it's better to show them live there than send them an email, because then you're just relying on them actually opening and taking the time to look at it. Where if you show them live, you have the time to look at it. So that's kind of another reason why this Zoom meeting is good, because I can control it and we can go through whatever color and what aspect they want to see on everything. So
Yeah, perfect. Control your environment, and we kind of lose a little bit of control if we can't get in the home. So that's why having the The voice of Zoom, utilizing this stuff, being able to present it, show photos, design the house, get them a price on screen with the homeowner. Or if you want to cut the process short and not give them a price and build up all the value and the momentum and then do a visit out at their house or invite them into the showroom. That's kind of it's kind of where we're going nowadays. I mean, it's been more and more common here the last, well, for sure, year, even if not the past few years. So.
Absolutely.
All right, so it's 10:55. There hasn't been many questions or concerns that have come in here.
Brandon has a question, Scott.
What's that?
Brandon has a question. Brandon Moore in the
Oh.
chat about the resources.
Okay.
All right.
What is the question, my good sir?
Okay, he asks, can the dealers have access to your resources?
Yep, everybody that buys in with Leap has access to everything that we put together. So that includes all the brochures, all the photo books, all the contracts, all the pricing software if you want to use it. I mean, we were going to talk after this week about more in detail. However, anything that we have, if you guys don't use Leap, you have access to, and we can cater to it. Right now, those photo books are a little outdated, but we need more photos to update them the way we'd like to. So probably the next year or two, we're going to be asking for photos from everybody, especially with the new Prism colors. We need those. And then also just going out there and trying to get jobs around Minnesota, North Dakota. We just have to do it.
Yeah, I was going to add to that actually. If anyone has Prism colors for, siding or whatever you maybe used Prism colors for, if you guys could send those to Scott, that would be fantastic because
media at abcseamless.com. We'll take any photos or video, anything like that you have, throw it on our website, throw it on our photo books, get it ready to rock for everybody.
Because with this new digital presentation that we'll be rolling out and you guys will get to see tomorrow, it would be awesome to have more of those photos for that. We do have a few of the Prism colors that we've done or that Fargo has done, but we could use more. So if you guys have any, that would be fantastic.
All right.
I put the
go ahead.
email in the chat too. So if anyone wants to copy the email, it's in the chat as well.
So we've got, over 30 people on this call here, which is
Amazing.
fantastic. I need input from you guys now. So we ran through the Zoom thing. If you want to do Zoom training and stuff like that, that'd probably be a one-on-one as well. As people know how to log into Zoom, but how do I run it? How do I buy it? That would be a separate conversation. Ran through Hover for 20, 25 minutes, ran through Leap for 20 minutes. Now it's up to you guys. There's nothing that's scripted now. So it's all unmuting yourselves, talking about something, or sending questions to the chat so we can bring it up and show you what's going on. So we're only about an hour in. We scheduled till noon, but we also knew it could be, half an hour, 45 minutes as well. It's just everybody's got a different level of, knowledge on what they want to use and what they want to plan on attack and strategize for the rest of 2020 and 2021.
Scott, who are some of the franchises that are just kind of starting to utilize some of these services?
It's a great question. A lot of them actually. There's been 3 or 4 that have lined up with Leap in the last year. Last one I talked to, Brandon I think that they're signing up over at Morin's. So that'd be the newest one, but St. Cloud Sartell have lined up with them too, and they've signed up in the last year, and they've seen the results. I mean, the big thing to talk about here is which basically the premise of the sales and marketing process is all automation. Now it's not fully automated, but if it's automated to a degree to where you can analyze it, it's going to be great. So as far as that goes, people signing up with Leap to get automated results from your sales guy and hold them accountable for putting their own results in. I mean, that's huge. how often have you seen a sales guy out there? Well, 3 weeks, I don't have any results from you. What's going on? How do you know that your marketing or advertising is working if you give him a lead and he doesn't provide you with the result? You have no idea.
Absolutely. Hey, Brandon said that they are going on Leap February 1st. So
That a baby.
No.
So we'll make sure you get all the information. They have access to our files already, so they should be able to build you everything that you need.
Also,
Right.
the other cool thing is you can actually hold your salespeople accountable because you can actually see exactly what they're doing in the house. So if you go under basically the estimates tab, I believe, and you look at the estimate and the results tab, and you look at the results that they had provided, you can see step by step basically what they did while they were in Leap. So if they now, granted, if we once we switch to our digital presentation, we won't know that, but the digital presentation actually keeps track of what they did while they were looking at the digital presentation as well. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh, we're watching everybody, but the thing is if you have a salesperson that maybe is, underperforming or is struggling a little bit, you can find ways where you can help them. And so that's where I see it as a benefit is okay, hey, did you actually do what you were supposed to do when you were at the house? Or did you just go in and give them a price? So it's, having these tools, it's more than just what meets the eye. There's so many things on the back end that from maybe a manager's perspective that helps you a lot as well, as far as where your sales team's at and where you can improve.
Right. And from a sales standpoint also, I mean, Leap in its own right is the best thing in the world for me. I don't have to carry around thousands of pieces of paper and carbon copy contracts. And if I'm on the road and somebody calls and says, hey, do you remember you were at my house on December 13th, which is 3 weeks ago, I can literally pull up my Leap right there, and I can have their information, everything I did with them, with the client right there. So I can have that conversation no matter where I'm at. I'm not having to, let me get back to the office. Let me get here. I got to find this piece of paper. All of my information is there. So it helps me with my double checks, and it helps me upsell, to be honest with you. I can build off of it because I know where things are and what they would want, and I can see and go from there too. So organization wise, it is night and day over paper. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he who holds the information typically wins the game. So the more information you can acquire, the better chance you could build a strategy behind it. So
Brandon brought another really important point. So he writes, in-home inspections through Leap will be awesome. The salespeople can't move forward without checking all the boxes. Yeah, absolutely. It holds everybody accountable. Something new that I just built out too, and I don't have it finished yet, but I don't know if any of you guys use the like property inspection list basically as you're walking, or as your salesperson is doing like a walkthrough, like the questionnaire basically is the warm up. But that is also another really important thing as well. And the reason why I have it in Leap is now when they submit the results, I have a copy of that as well. So now when, maybe they don't sell the appointment on that first initial visit, and we're going back to do a rehash. Now I have all those questions answered. So when I go back to look at, okay, how am I going to do this rehash, and how are we going to market, to this customer? How are we going to, start this conversation to hopefully maybe gain a sale here? I have all that questionnaire already filled out, so it's ready to rock. So that's another really cool thing in Leap as well. There's another question that was just asked. Do you guys utilize DocuSign? If so, how often? We do utilize DocuSign, and a lot. So where it comes in handy is work change orders. Because obviously for us, when we're traveling out to Western North Dakota, up into Williston and stuff like that, where we're talking hundreds of miles to go and normally sign a work change order. You can just fill this thing right out on Leap, submit it right to the customer, and they can sign it within a minute. It's awesome to utilize. Another thing that we utilize it for, which will probably change. So for our proposals that we send out right now, we just are using our contracts as proposals. And what we utilize that for basically is we utilize DocuSign to submit those. So like obviously if you're doing a contactless appointment, that's a great way to get that to the customer is through that DocuSign portal, and they can sign right off of there as well. So it's a super simple, streamlined process.
Us in Fargo, we use DocuSign 100% for everything now. So we're full contract through DocuSign, full work change order through DocuSign. Everything leaves Leap on the contract and is signed through DocuSign with us. So, I mean, there's an aspect here and there where we might have to print something out, but every contract I send is a DocuSign document.
All right, fellas. Is there anything else you guys want to go through? I mean, we've got plenty of stuff to talk about. One-on-ones are really good because you'll be able to cater to what you guys are wanting. As far as the preparation, like I said, it was just the 3 platforms for now. We've got, Marlamar, which is a text automation service that will show you a lot of different things. The new presentation tomorrow. Fantastic. Grant spent probably more time than I did on it. We looked at it, we went through it. Our sales team did as well. I think you guys are going to really be excited about seeing that tomorrow. I got a great speaker tomorrow. Fantastic, positive. Looking forward to, the rest of the week with you guys. But right now, I'd just like to hand it over. If you guys want to unmute yourselves and ask specific questions about how we're doing certain things, feel free to do so. Otherwise, throw it in the chat. Otherwise, right now it's like we're at that table at the convention, just kind of open. You guys come to the table and ask us questions, and we'll be available. So we'll just hang on here for the next 15, 20 minutes. That's a great question, more of a statement, but digital production process. Yeah, so this is difficult to answer because you have to educate certain departments on how to handle a process before they go through and mark things, right? So when you have processes set up, you still have to have a person that's doing it. It can't just be automated just segmentively. You still have to go in there. If a job is sold, it's sold, that's done. But then when a job is installed, you can't just assume that it's installed at this date. You have to have a person that puts those dates in there. And that's the downfall of the automation process for ABC Seamless, because we've been as far as, 3 months out, 6 months out, 9 months out. I think Bismarck, you guys are over a year out. So it's very difficult to tell you that, a digital production process is easy to do. Hopefully that's the question you asked. But it's kind of whoever's in charge of it has to decide what the best process is for your company. Great question. Chris, would you mind throwing up Leap again for us, or Grant, one of you guys? I'd just like you to show the financing options through there, if you could do that.
Grant, you want to do that?
We don't really utilize that portion. So if you guys want to show it, that's fine. But I mean, we obviously utilize financing. We usually run it separately through the app. So.
Gotcha.
You got it or no?
Yeah, you gotta make me the host though.
All right.
John, I think I can answer your question for you. So basically what we charge is we charge off of mileage. And so in Leap, we actually have basically a tab.
Can you read the question too?
Huh?
Can you read the question as well?
Yeah. Okay. So for companies that drive 4 hours away for a job, how do you charge for extras such as drive time, gas, lodging, and how do you compensate your employees? As far as the compensation, Paul's on here. You can jump in on that if he's listening. But as far as the pricing structure, so we charge by mileage. So we have basically 2 mileage categories, one from 0 to 50, and then the other one's 51 to 150, and then 150 and over. And so basically we just have different pricing categories that kind of compensate for all those things. So whether it's, siding per square, your gutter downspout price, whatever the case may be, basically you price out everything. And then like what is being shown on the screen right now that Chris is sharing. Chris, can you go back to the other main screen? I don't.
Yep.
Okay, so see where they have the mileage, basically you can just swipe to the right, and then our mileage would basically change for whatever price that is. So if it's, $1,600 a square in town and it's, $1,900 a square for maybe our furthest mileage, it'll compensate for that. So.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
It's 10% and then 15% when you get further out. And we had a little bit different. We pay all our installers on a percentage. So depending on what they do, either anywhere from 8% on up to 17%, depending on what product they're installing. So based on the percentage, obviously it's a higher dollar amount that they're selling at because we're adding the percentage to the dollar amount. 0 to 60 is the in-town price, and then 61 so on to 150 and 150 plus or whatever. So that's how they get paid. So that covers your mileage and your per diem and hotel and all that good stuff. So
Thanks, Paul. With that too, just you can set up Leap with the hard cost of the product too, and then use a multiplier on top of it. We were one of the first companies set up with them, so we didn't set it up that way. Hindsight, we probably would have, so we can raise our costs accordingly. So I'd recommend anybody would set up their pricing with the hard cost and then have a multiplier on it. That's what I would recommend.
Gotcha. Real quick at the bottom here, there's the finance option. That's what the other question was on. So like I said, we were doing this job at 35,000. So it just asks you a couple quick questions. Total amount of the job, 35,000. Oops, not 350,000, 35,000. Let's say down payment was 22,000. Let's say down payment was 5,000. So make this easier. So it leaves 30,000 to finance. Couple different options. Interbank pulls it up, shows 6.99%, 5-year, 7-year, 10-year, 12-year. This is where, before you go into this aspect, this is where you want to find out kind of what financing they're looking for, what their payment level is. A lot of times I utilize if I see what kind of cars they have in the driveway, which works sometimes, it doesn't work sometimes, but if they have an Escalade sitting there, that payment, they're probably, if you can make it less than their Escalade payment, it's kind of an aspect that works decently. But let's say we can get it at $306. You pull it back, never show them this whole process here. But what you will notice is the bottom number jumped at that 20%. It did go up to 37,977. That's where we work in the back end off the financing price there. So that's the number we'd have to actually sell it at now, but we would get them at the 144 payments of 306. And then that whole thing works into the contract. You'd work that into the results then. So now you'd be selling the job for 37,977 instead of 35,000, if that makes sense there. I know you got a lot more to add on that, Scott, so go ahead.
Yeah, what we did was basically, now there's a lot of different opinions on this, but for the most part, this builds in the cost of the finance, and you can do that. That is legal. So if we're financing, if you go back to that, can you go back to the finance page again?
Yep.
Just throw a number in there and I'll explain. So if you're financing $30,000, you decide to pick the reduced interest one, that's no problem.
Yeah.
It gives you options here. So right away in the 9.99 financing to the customer, a lot of homeowners are educated on looking at what the percentages are now. It wasn't always that way, but over the years, it's been more gradually. They look online what rate they can get. Zero cost to us. So the red line up there with the two brackets around there, That's the cost to the company. That's the cost of the origination of the loan to get to the customer. So 999 for 8 years is $1,500. If we do a 699 with them for 5 years, it's 1575. The black number underneath of that red is the dollar amount the customer would pay per month on average. So basically, this calculator, once you build it in there, and it might take a little bit, maybe 45 minutes to an hour to understand how to put those in there, the ratios and the numbers. But once you have this available, it shows the sales guy, all right, which one do I want to use? So the customer says, hey, I want a payment for $350. Which one would we try to go for? Either the 699 5 years, that's $594. No, I can't do that. I can't get rid of my Escalade. I got to keep it. So we're gonna go down to the 348, 699 for 10 years. How does the payment between 340 and 360 sound? Right now it shows up at 348. Can we try to get that one for you? No problem. Let's do it. So that's going to cost the company $1,800 on that $30,000 borrowed. Okay. So, that's not too bad considering once you click that, do you mind clicking that 1,800? And then right now that changes that number. Instead of at the larger 37, it'll change it to 36,802. And this is building in your finance charge to the end, let's say, retail value, if you will. There's a book at say 50 grand, 20% off with finance charges in there. It's 36,802. Now, not everybody's going to want to do it the same way or understand the same way as we do it. It's just you have to figure out what the best medium for you is to use. So right now we use pretty much 2 or 3 different financing companies. And the reason why we use multiple companies is because some have better rates on the same as cash stuff, or long-term loans. So we've got, a 12-year loan that's going to cost, somewhere between probably 5 to 10% of the job in most cases. But the thing is that with ours, we make sure we build it into the price. So that's the hard part is, if you have a chance to talk to Jerry about financing, he's very concerned about the money it costs us out of pocket. So just make sure you're remembering if a loan too good to be true costs 21.5% and you're selling it at a 20% discount, you're probably going to be closer to a 45 to 50% discount after everything is considered. So just remember that. That's a lot of behind the financing part of it.
Well, and so on what day are we doing the sales panel, Scott?
That is tomorrow, I believe.
So when we go through that sales panel tomorrow, we actually will have Travis on from our office, and he's going to go over financing and kind of how to sell it. But kind of to that point that Scott, just kind of touched on, I definitely wouldn't be scared to do it because it's going to open up so many more deals for you guys. You definitely need to be conscientious of like, okay, yep, this fee is costing me this, so I probably can't give this big discount and whatever. And we'll go over that tomorrow a little bit. But I mean, it's a huge tool. We utilize it a lot. It gets us more deals, gets us in the door with more people. I think that everyone should use it. I mean, it's no different than when you go buy a vehicle. Either they're offering you a great incentive for a low interest rate, or they're giving you a big cash discount, but it's not one or the other. So I hate to say it, but I mean, today more people buy on payments and more now than ever. And so I definitely think that it's something that everyone should utilize. But like I said, we'll go over that tomorrow in more detail. So.
Somebody's asking about the legality of it. Basically, it's service is what it comes down to. So a service fee is legal to charge. However, there's not really a service fee involved. However, if you're charging the customer not any money extra than what the cost is to you as your organization, it is legal. Now that may vary in different states, but as far as North Dakota and Minnesota, it is legal to charge for the amount of dollars it costs for the loan origination with the company. But here in Wisconsin, I think so. You should check that.
Right. And I
Uh,
know we'll get into this more tomorrow with the sales panel and whatnot, but just advise your sales guys to be aware and know what the banks are offering as well when it comes to financing. It just looks good when you know that as well, because a lot of people, when you go into their house, they already know what they're looking at. They've already talked to their bank most of the time if they're planning a project this big.
Anybody else? We've
Yeah.
it's not as much of a tech session, I guess, but the thing is that we are available for any tech sessions that you want. Each of us has our own skill set on what we're good at. We're all good with Leap, Hover, and Zoom. So those are 3 things that you can communicate to all of us on. Media at abccmos.com is the best chance to reach us, I guess.
Hey, Scott, Josh asked, do you do the application for financing on Leap?
You can. So that's the thing is right now we actually utilize the apps individually. So we typically use Enterbank and Service Finance, which each have their own apps. It's actually been easier to use the apps instead of going directly through Leap. So all you have to do is open up your screen, go to the home screen, go to the app and apply and jump back. Now that takes an extra, 3, 4, 5 seconds, but the apps typically are faster than actually going through Leap right now.
I would
So-
say most of the companies that we use to offer some kind of an online platform, and all you have to do is you scan their driver's license and it puts in all of their information for you. The only other thing that you're more than likely going to need is like a phone number, email address, and I suppose probably some income information, and that's pretty much it. So it's super, super easy. You can fly through it pretty quick, in my opinion. It doesn't take long at all. I've done a few. Yeah, so it's honestly, it's probably easier to go through the app because depending upon what companies you use and how many you want to utilize, each has their own kind of different way of doing it. But yeah, I mean, it's super streamlined now. It's gotten a lot better.
Yeah,
So,
they'll take 5 minutes to do the application. Typically let you know within 5 minutes as well.
Yep.
A big thing here is with the control part of it is you go out to house and they don't consider financing, but they call you and they want financing. Just Zoom a call, send it over to them, get them on Zoom and just show them the application and show your screen. Do it together. People love having their hand held. I mean, I could have done a lot of this stuff that Chris and Grant did today, but it was way easier for me to not. So give them the shit and tell them, hey, you guys do the stuff and it looks pretty and it's fun. Work as a team. If you have somebody that's better than you at Zoom, utilize them. Say, hey, do you mind helping me out with the first Zoom call with the customer? Once you learn it once, it'll be like way easier to use down the road. So try it a few times. Download Zoom. Each one of you guys on the call today, if you don't have a Zoom account, just download it, get it ready and rocking. I mean, you can visit with one homeowner, 2 homeowners at the same time. Doesn't cost you a dime. You can use all this information, do electronic meeting. Doesn't cost you anything. The only time it costs you anything is if you have 3 or more people or if you want all the functionality to it. But you can do presentations online, Zoom a call, 10 minutes. Let's get you financed, ready to rock. Do you feel more comfortable coming in the showroom? No, I don't. I'd rather do it online. All right, let's do it 6:15, 6:30. You got that much time? No problem. It's just being flexible is a big thing nowadays, right? I don't have any time for you. I have to go and order all my presents on Amazon from 7 to 5 in the morning for some reason. But if you set a time with them, usually it doesn't take longer than 10, 15 minutes to get them financed or to go over any of their extra questions that they may have. Or Chris, in your case, or Grant designing their house. Hey, you know what? I couldn't figure out how to design it from willow to sapphire. Would you mind sending me some shots or jumping on a call with me for 15 minutes? My wife doesn't like the color. Let's change it. My husband thinks the trim looks like crap. Let's change it.
That's 50% of every day I have right there.
I got you.
I'm not even joking.
I think another thing I'd like to do too, if there's anyone that's on right now that has something different that we have not talked about, or maybe something that they're currently utilizing that maybe we haven't touched on yet, that they would like to share as far as maybe some success that they would have, that would be great. And if no one starts talking, I'm going to start calling people out. So.
You can call people out right now.
No, it would just be really great though. I just think this is a great opportunity for all of us to share with each other, what are some different things that we're doing. That's kind of what this group is really for, is to share with, our different organizations on how, maybe we can better, maybe there's something that we're not doing that someone else is doing, that we can incorporate or discuss. So. Bernie says we are using Joist and it has its own financing.
Are you talking about a company that has multiple financing institutions on there at the same time?
No one will bite, by the way. This is all virtual, so.
Yeah. We don't even care if you spell anything wrong.
No, I mean, people can unmute themselves. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Anytime they want.
It says it's like Leap.
Okay.
We got a lot of people on the call. I mean, this is the most we've had a round table. Maybe not the overall, but at the same time. I guess I've never heard of Joist, but if you want to send it over, we can try to pass it
Yeah,
along.
happy to check it out and look at it. I know there's quite a few other companies out there now that are doing something kind of somewhat similar to Leap. So.
Yeah, basically
Can
the
you hear me?
goal.
Yep.
The goal is to
Yeah.
do it all
Okay,
through one
yeah,
platform.
it's like a Leap,
Oh, there you
but it's Joist. It was a free app at first. That's why we got it, and now you can pay for it, and it has lots of, I guess, perks. They can put in their own credit card. It also offers financing, easy to use.
So you guys do all your pricing and stuff through there too?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Sure. For your estimates and everything like that.
Yeah, you can just put in line items and how much you charge for like a quantity, and then you can add 2 or 3 or however you want to do it.
Sure. So
But
it's
it's really easy.
Sure. So what basically it's just kind of one of those things you build out as you go, so it doesn't like have all the information already uploaded. Is that correct?
Right. It's all customizable.
Sure. Sure. And to that point too, I guess we didn't really touch on that, but Leap also, and not obviously pushing anyone either way, will also hold credit card information as like a token. We don't have that set up yet currently, but it's something that we're looking to add. So the cool thing about that is actually once you have that initial credit card, so let's say you take it for a down payment, it actually saves it as a token, so you can actually charge that card later. So that's really cool. So you don't have to call the customer and get all that information again, which is really nice. So.
Yeah, it really depends on what avenue that you go. Companies, I mean, we all use different companies. Which one's better? You never know until you use them. We've been happy with Leap for the most part. And of course, Hover, we've kind of got grandfathered in over the years. Joist, and I'm sure there's another 5, 6, 7, 8 different companies you guys are using. It just kind of depends on the functionality of it, the cost of it, and if it's worth it for your organization. So just kind of keep tabs on it, because Leap, honestly, when you get it set up, it just costs a usage license per user. So I mean, it's not a hefty amount of investment for that. And think of it this way: if you're a $500,000 company and you go up 10% on price, and your guy sells 50,000 in a week, that's 5,000 extra that pays for your service. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can look at it, but instead of handing out actual physical, excuse me, price sheets to your sales guys, you go up without even them knowing in a lot of cases. You don't even have to deal with, hey, why are we going up in price? You don't have to hear that. You just know, oh, I think a price change came in there. So it's very handy for us, I guess.
John has a question. and I don't know if this should be saved for tomorrow or not. It says, from anyone who is really killing it with designer style gutters, would like to hear tips on what they're doing for a sales process.
Yeah, bud. That's a good question. You mean the fascia style designer gutters? Wonderful. Johnny boy, do you guys have a machine or no? You can unhook
You
your
can
mic. bud.
unmute yourself too. Yeah.
He said yes. So John, F you. Open your mic.
I guess kind of to that point for us really is showing the differentiation between our gutter and let's just say like a K-style gutter would probably be obviously the most common thing that you're up against. When you put that gutter hanger in, obviously the super hanger that we use on all of our gutters, and showing them what a traditional, aluminum hanger looks like. Taking the, fascia style gutter, we have little samples that we use and, bringing, if you have a K-style with or whatever, and you put those two physical things in somebody's hand, allowing those people just to even physically touch the product is so huge. And right there, that's going to be the justification, because if someone's calling you out to put gutters on their house, like for us, because that's all we do is fascia style gutters. So when they're calling us, they're looking for a better product because they know that's what we offer. And I think a lot of it is really just kind of obviously educating that customer on the differentiation between the product types, what the products are made up of, and then giving them that, physical thing to put in their hand. A lot of times what I like to do too is if I'm at a customer's house, they have K-style gutters on there and maybe they're having issues where they're leaking, I go up and I'll show them their miters, hey, look at this 3-piece miter. You had water freezing in it and it already busted out, so why would you want to put something like this back on your house, basically, and have the same problem again?
Yeah, Johnny boy, you're open.
Actually, this is Joe. So,
Joe.
I'm just using him as a mask. But no, that was the question. Is we do have a machine and we've been doing pretty good with it, but obviously it's never enough for me. So just wanted to try to see how much more we can get out of it and what somebody else might be doing to help that along.
Well,
yeah, basically, in my opinion, a lot of it is just kind of the education to the consumer, because obviously you have to justify on why your product's more, because I'm sure you're charging more for it than obviously the guys with the K-style. So yeah, I mean, basically, it's like I said, the physical product in hand, being able to see, demonstrating, if you do a walk around with your customers, I like to point out what's wrong with their gutters. Or if maybe they don't have any on new construction house or something like that, have a portfolio of photos, show them what happens to, basically your competition after a certain amount of time, or, maybe you have some that, ripped off a house. I mean, there's, we could go on and on different cases. But for us, that's kind of what we do. And I would say gutters are definitely probably one of our first phone calls that we get as far as, products, if no one's ever done business with ABC Seamless. And then usually after they see our gutters, that leads in for us to go back for siding and windows and so on. So,
gutters are a gateway drug. Yep.
Yep.
So once you're hooked on gutters with ABC, you're going to come back for more.
Yeah. Up here, we mostly see it. I mean, our biggest things are their gutters are not moving the water away from their house. So they're getting a lot of water penetration in their basements. And then like Grant said, the miter system, but it's also the durability and strength of our gutters, because we get a lot of snow that turns into a lot of weight and a lot of issues with those K-style. They bend and fall off, and it's almost too easy to sell when you show up to a house with K-style gutters sometimes, because the second they touch or see your gutter, or even the downspout, I'll even show them the downspout first before I even show them the gutter, and they're already locked in. They're ready to go, because we talk about it. I don't even refer to it as our gutters. I just refer to it as our water removal system, and people, it's just, they're ready to go. They want an option that is not going to leak, is not going to fall off their roof. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Beth said, do you utilize automatic campaigns through any programs? How do you rehash through previous estimates?
Lots and lots. This would be probably a one-on-one with you. There's different service providers that we utilize and programs that basically dissect the information that's been presented from our sales team going out in the field and then putting that back as a sale or no sale, and then going back down the road by running a report and getting an automated text message sent out, an automated email, an automated review. I would say we wait until after Thursday and our marketing processes with Marlamar at least to show you. And then Signpost is the other one that we utilize. Just keeps track of all the information that builds up to basically giving the best chance of getting out there and making the sale, I guess, if you will. So if it's low hanging fruit or people that you've talked with that are interested with you, we make sure we stay in front of them. So I know that doesn't answer your question in detail. It just gives you ideas of like, okay, these guys will show me down the road. I like to talk with you on Friday or the next week on showing you some of these things if you're up to it. So just make sure to email the media link, media@abccmos.com.
Yeah, I'll kind of just answer to that too as well. So as far as automatic campaigns, like Scott said, the Signpost, we utilize that. We utilize that a lot for, obviously it captures a lot of our reviews. So it takes care of that for us. So we don't have to worry about that. The nice thing is it also vets them for you. So if it was someone that was really happy with the product or the service that you offered, it's going to send them another email after basically they answer the first initial email and give them a link for like a Google or Facebook link where they can actually go online and review. If you have someone that is unhappy, it's a great way to find out that the customer was unhappy, so you can contact them and figure out what exactly happened in that process. But it's not going to send them those links, so obviously they can't go on and leave a nasty review for you as well. So that's kind of nice that it does that. As far as rehashing goes, right now we kind of do a lot of the rehashing ourselves. So we utilize Leap, obviously with the results that we get from the salespeople after they're at the house. And then we'll actually give that customer a call and just kind of go over, we have like a series, we have a questionnaire basically that we use, and we ask those questions, to see how that appointment went and see if there's still something on the table where we feel that we can go back out and revisit those people to maybe try to close that deal, again, hopefully. So.
Just to give you a quick shot, I just pulled it up here on the screen. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it says you can.
Yep.
Um, How many reviews have been driven since we started on Google? I mean, 80. That's pretty solid number. 16 Facebook, Yelp, we're not even on there. So that should not even be on there at all. But we started with about 1,200 contacts back in 2011, and we've got about 40,000 contacts, but 15,531 have accepted us as a part of their life to get emails once in a while. You can opt out anytime you want to, but this basically goes through in detail of what happens with your contacts. That's the beauty part about this is what happened with this contact. I can look at the phone number comes in. These automatically get distributed as a customer calls in. Tells you exactly what you sent them over the years. Positive feedback. Sounds fantastic. Great. I got your email ready to rock. And you can send any information that you want over to them. If you want to send the feedback message out again, you sure can. Otherwise, you can build campaigns with this. This is more or less, we've had webinars and events on this system before. So I would say if you have 20 to 25 minutes, it'd be beneficial to do a one-on-one. If there's more interest in looking at the Signpost stuff or the Marlamar stuff down the road after the meetings, just send it over to media again. But yeah, like Grant said, it shares all responses. So This is the back end. They will swear, they will say anything they want to. It's not posted, but this is what we call gatekeeping, is making sure that if there's a negative review, that we gatekeep it and try to sweep it under the rug before it gets to the top. And that's what we should all be in control of. We should make sure that our image is the best it could possibly be out there, because that's our jobs. So instead of being a 4-star company, we're a 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, 4.8. On the back end, you can see, a lot of times people will leave feedback far below sales process guide doesn't respect my yard or garden or furnishings. So you'd send this to the production department, Mark and Kim Anderson. Okay, they sent, the guys didn't respect my yard, garden, furnishings. What are you going to do about it? So of course the production manager would give that customer a call and say, hey, what's going on here? We got your message. How can we help you? Or how can we keep you part of ABC Seamless family? Because do you think if they're going to provide you with the result or a negative feedback that we should expect that they're going to buy from us again? No, this could be just gutters. You guys sucked at doing my gutters. Do you think I'm going to call you back for siding? That's why it's important to make sure to communicate this across all departments, because if we lose customers, which are 50% of our base, new customers are gutters, and we're not going to handle them properly, do you think we're going to earn their business down the road or have them talk highly about us? I don't think so.
One thing I think I missed, Leanna Yoder added in here, sharing addresses of previous customers' homes and customer referrals is a huge selling point for me. And yeah, absolutely. We've found that as well, that sharing those addresses and or any customer testimonials, referrals, and that's kind of something that I'm actually looking to add to the portfolio this year, is seeing if I can't get more customers to do more like video testimonials, because obviously with the power of video, like we're doing today, is kind of the next push, kind of, with everything that's going on. So having those testimonials that you can maybe share online on like a funnel of some sort, or any like Google ad campaigns or anything like that maybe you guys are running and you want to add some content to, it really sets up nicely for that. And Leanna's had an awesome year with sales. Scott and I were actually just talking about that last night or the other night. So, but no, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So
that's the big thing with everything that we talked about today. Now, it's not all tech relevant, so that's what the name of the meeting was. But in all reality, marketing, sales, they all go together. Advertising, it all goes together as a gel. And the thing is that the better we can become to communicate the right way out to customers nowadays and amongst ourselves is the best way. So if you see somebody struggling in their office, not being able to figure something out, just say, hey, how can I help? A lot of people won't ask for help in most cases, so just go and help them. Say, hey, this is what I've done. This is what works for me. Do you mind if I show you how I do it? And a lot of that has to do with communication, and that's where a lot of our reviews come in under 90%, is the ability to communicate to the customer they want to be communicated with, and that's huge. I mean, I can't express it enough. As many reviews come back or negative reviews, communication is typically on the back end of it. So I don't know if anybody else wants to talk about their experience with communication, but I mean, it's just something we need to get better at, communicating and making sure that people know that we care and we're available, and this is when your job's going to be done and that stuff. Somebody open up. No?
Scott, did I join? Can you hear me? It's Tyler.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Tyler. What's up?
Hi, good morning. I was having a little trouble joining in.
Yeah.
But I just kept re-clicking in.
So we got Tyler Byers on the line. What would you like today, Mr. Byers?
I'm just listening in. If you guys need any really tough questions answered, just ask.
All right, let's ask them all the tough questions. I think we're just wrapping up here. So a lot of good questions, a lot of good people online here. I know most of you guys.
I wish I knew how to see them all on here.
You can't because you're just calling in.
Oh, okay. I'll figure it out. We'll get it tomorrow fixed.
We'll make sure to get you a list so you can call everybody.
Okay.
So it was fantastic conversation here today, and like I said, the one-on-one stuff, it's going to be more powerful to you to go over something that you might not be as educated on. All of us are here because we don't know as much. You know, we're always wanting to learn, so that's why we said keep an open mind, go learn some more information, learn what's possible, and that's the big thing here. In the next year, we plan on having a lot more of these events with kind of the open knowledge of saying, hey, what's been working for you? 2020 has been a challenge, but of course, I think since we're all still working for the ABC dealers, we're open to the challenge. So it should be a fun year. It should be a fun next couple days. And just talking Grant and Chris, we were talking to Derek out in Lake Park doing a roof. We might even have some live feed of video of a church roof going on here in the next couple days too.
Nice.
But I mean, we didn't really touch on social media marketing or anything like that. But if you're not, get her bucking, and that's our next plan. In the end of January or beginning of February is to focus on showing you at least the 5 different sites that we use for social media, and then how we would typically post and what the reasoning behind doing hashtags and what are for.
Also, during the marketing panel, I will show you guys some different tools I'm utilizing for funnels, and as far as like automations. I know Beth had asked that question, and so I do have a few things that I'm going to be sharing during the marketing panel as well. So if you guys have a chance to hop in during that time as well, that'd be great. And I'll just show you some very simple stuff that I'm kind of working on to help kind of track the performance of different campaigns. And obviously you can utilize these things with Facebook, or if you guys use different ad agencies where maybe you're, like for us, I guess we just ran a campaign with one of our local news stations on their website. So when people are like looking at local news, they can see our ad and then basically click on a link that'll take them to what I call an offer, and then they can actually opt into that offer. And then for me, I can obviously utilize to see, okay, is this campaign working? Am I actually, getting a return on this investment that I'm spending with this company, or is it a waste of money and let's not do it? So it's really cool for that. And like I said, I'll bring that to the marketing segment. I believe is that tomorrow.
Yeah, it's Thursday. Sales Wednesday, marketing Thursday. We've got some ads and commercials to share as well. We're not going to give you all that info today, but spend an hour in that section. It'll be valuable to you. Trust me that. And then we'll focus more on one-on-one stuff as we move along. Like I mentioned earlier, it's just, it's hard to go through a bevy of things. So that's why we're taking questions and going through what you guys want to learn, because that's the most important. And then we'll try to cater to things down the road that you guys want to know more about on, more sections that are, 5-10 people in there, or even one-on-ones. Anybody else have anything? Chris, Grant?
I don't. If anyone else, I guess that's still in right now, if they have any additional questions or comments.
Oh, one guy just said we don't want Grant on this anymore. He talks too much.
Oh, whoops.
I'm just kidding. So we're close to noon here. So let's see. I mean, even hopefully tomorrow we get some of that clip of the roof. That'd be sweet. But anything else that you guys want to learn more of, just like I said, email that same email. I know I said it 5-6 times, but here's the thing. That's what you're supposed to do. Check out abccmos.com and check us out. Email us at media@abccmos.com. Let us know what we can do better. Give us information or programs that you want to learn more about, and we'd be happy to do so.
Or if you have questions on programs that you're looking at possibly utilizing. I mean, between Scott and myself, we spend a decent amount of time of checking out new things. So obviously we're kind of the first to the market with different automations and programs. So if you guys have any questions on anything about something specific, obviously always reach out to us as well. So
yeah, they just make Fargo pay for it right away without them. They can,
yep.
we're the guinea pig, so. But overall, it's been a pretty good year, to be honest with you. Right away, it could have been a lot worse. We just want to make sure that everybody on the call today, and I appreciate everybody on the call today, by the way, is educated up to where they want to be at, and we're available to make sure that you have the education level that you need for certain programs. A lot of it is just using it and practicing with it, though, just like any tool that you would use. All right. Well, I will leave it open here. Grant and Chris, you want to stay on for 10 minutes, see if anybody else says anything?
Sure.
Otherwise, we'll be ending this session today. And thank you so much, Tyler Byers, for joining us. I didn't expect you today, bud.
Yes.
I can't believe.
Yes, I want to watch some more. I'll learn my computer again, Scott. I'm challenged a little bit on this again. I'm going in and out right now, flicking buttons here. Am I on video? How do I get it where you guys can see me?
Thank goodness you are not on video. Otherwise, we'd probably lose about half the people on here. But
yeah, are you getting this?
Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
Diana says, "Nice screensaver. Where did it come from?"
Well, this particular house probably came from you if you're asking that. However, it came from our 2016 flash drive we sent to everybody. So for fun, we didn't go through any cloud stuff. But here's the thing, like what we'll do is I think the best thing to do is provide all the things that we have a good knowledge on. And if you're comfortable with it, don't worry about it. But if you want to know more information on like cloud services or any service that we send, there's probably 30 different companies. Just let us know. The best way to do it is you don't know what you don't know. So first off, start off with what you want to know more about, and then we'll work from there. So let's see. I think it came from here. This could be duck mat. That'll be under, what is that color? Mahogany HD?
Yep.
HD mahogany. And probably the second page here. So there's one.
There it is.
I know exactly where to find it out of millions of images. So that's what I can bring to the table, is remembering where I could find photos and videos and stuff. So
Scott goes to bed at night memorizing where all the photos in his computer.
I don't try to, but I dream about ABC and the duck and all that. So it should be the same. So we're wrapping up here, you guys. The next 10 minutes we'll hang out for any questions, or if anybody wants to unmute and have a conversation, we're happy to do so. Other than that, we would really love to have you guys involved in the sales and marketing meetings here going on the next couple days. But I really wanted to say thank you so much for Grant and Chris being a part of this. Like I said earlier, as a joke, sort of. They did a lot of work for me. They presented, they talked about it. It's really special to have these guys part of the organization. They really do a great job. Paul, thanks for jumping in there and telling us a few things about how you run your operation. Caitlin, thanks for throwing it on at ABC Fargo since I'm at home. Thank you for putting on the TV. Tyler, thanks for jumping in. I know your dad was on today. He's on Wednesday and Thursday. He'll be on.
He's been
Ted and Jess, you guys are listening out there. Sue, thank you guys. Elizabeth and Deb, thank you guys for being a part of this as well. And really, everything has to work together as a team in this world that we know nowadays to help everybody get better at what they do. And it's coming from the heart. Thank you guys for all that you do. Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, thank you all the franchisees on here. We couldn't do it without you. So
Thanks, guys. Over and out.
all right, boys. Few people dropping off here, but we'll just hang out for a bit.
Yep.
Hopefully, I didn't put you guys too much on the spot. It looks like you guys are fine though.
No problems.
No problemo.
I think Grant had more of an issue of not divulging so much information.
Jesus,
Okay.
Grant.
You're just a bevy of knowledge there, my friend.
Yeah, I could have just slept.
Wait, you weren't sleeping? Oh, that's what you're doing.
Sort of. Well, I mean, we talk all the time, so I mean it's
No,
the
I
same
know.
information.
I'm just messing with you.
I know.
Jerry said to tell you that we kept him awake, so we did something good there.
Oh, he was in there.
Oh yeah, he's been sitting here the whole time. Him and
Oh,
Deb
sweet.
and Elizabeth. Look, I didn't call you Liz. I called you Elizabeth actually. Look at that. Oh, nice video there, Grant.
Oh, Grant.
That's
how
my
do you
favorite
do that?
video. That's my favorite video to show when homeowners are buying siding.
God, Grant, you're on fire, bud.
All right. Well, there's only Jim and John in here still. So,
No, we got more than that.
well, why are they not showing up on my screen?
'Cause you're
I got 10.
Larry Grayson coming in at the last
Oh.
minute. Larry Bear, you're a little late here. We're wrapping up. Oh, he's not on here yet.
Oh, you're still sharing your screen. There, bud.
That's fine. What do you want it?
No. You're good. I got you.
You sure?
Yep, I am sure. Thank you,
You're welcome.
though. Oh, Beth already sent photos to the media. She sent
Sweet.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What'd she send? Let's see.
Way to go, Beth. You can
Oh, she sent
unmute.
more of that. Holy smokes.
You can unmute and talk to us.
3, 5, 7, 9, 11. She sent 13 photos.
OMG. Don't delete them.
I'm not going to.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding, bud.
Trying to open them. Oh, here we go.
Prism or what? Put them up there. Host
Yeah.
it. You're the host.
The hostess. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, why is there no hostess option?
I don't know.
We still got a good number of people still on the call wondering what's going to happen next. Chris, let's see what happens next.
Ooh. Did he-
Chuckle.
Yeah.
I don't know, Sam Beige or Desert Tone.
Interesting. Oh, I'm trying to move out of the way.
There's a lot of comments coming in. Thank God Tyler was on the call. Save the day, baby.
That's awesome. Save the day.
That's the top part is what the hell is that? Tuscan, you're
Oh.
saying? On the upper left. Guinness? Onyx. Okay. So the bottom and the top?
Interesting.
Upper left section. Okay.
Oh, there's this one.
That is neato.
You see that? Gee, where's that? Why can't I show it?
Oh, yeah. Is that in Janesville?
Hmm.
Who are these pictures from?
They're from Beth.
And
Where's Beth from there, Scott?
I'm not sure, Beth. Where are you from? Your mic is unmuted unless you don't have one. Oh, Janesville. Okay.
Gainesville, yep.
You got any more pics on there? Or
Says
that was
very-
it?
Jerry says very nice. Trying to pull them all up. Hold on.
Truckle grape, lunch shanks. Truckle gray again. Technically the most popular color over the last probably 5 years. Driftwood?
Oh
or
yeah,
Williamsburg. Same thing.
same thing. Oh, that's nice.
With charcoal gray wraps. That looks nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is cool with the Christmas lights here.
Beth, send us everything you possibly get and we can put it in folders. That's awesome.
Do you see this one with the Christmas light on it?
It's beautiful.
You're right.
The Fuji
Is it-
restaurant. We got to try it out.
Oh, what's that? Ooh,
Church?
I don't know. It's interesting. And last one. Boom.
Hey, what are you guys using to edit this?
What do you mean? We're not going to edit anything.
Oh, so who are these pictures all from?
Beth just emailed them to me at the media email.
Yeah, we're just-
Oh, okay. I thought
just-
you guys were like on here trying to edit stuff. I'm like, what? How can
No,
you
we're
do that
just-
for these pictures?
we're just dinking around because we're just waiting for anybody else that wants to throw stuff.
I want to throw out that we need to figure out a production project management portion of the digitalized stuff.
Yeah, well, we can throw that out there, but we
I do have a few things that I can show you, but they're really preliminary.
preliminary.
That's pretty sweet.
Each independent operation has to make sure that their department managers understand how to use it first. So that's the toughest part.
Right.
You can put shit together as much as you want to, but if you don't have people that understand the processes behind putting information in, there's no reason to do it.
Brandon,
Well,
what's your question specifically as far as like automation for production?
Okay, so it's not so much, I guess I kind of worded that goofy as far as like the production process, I guess. But I'm just looking at like a way for like more of the project management side of it. Like, is there a way to like share this information? Like one of my guys brought up. So like, wouldn't it be great if we had all the contracts, the work orders, change orders, everything like that on an iPad? Well, obviously Leap's going to kind of like take a big step to get you there, but there's no, I guess I compare it to looking at other programs. So like other CRMs like CoConstruct and Buildertrend and the functionalities that they have for their project management. I don't know if anyone else is familiar with that, but that's kind of like the streamlined communication, one central location to communicate between crew and shop, crew and customer, shop and customer. And I know that there's some capabilities with MarketSharp, but it's not, to me, there really isn't this like great way to capture it. And I know it's kind of on a dealer to dealer basis, but just like we all use MarketSharp, so we have that idea, if we can come up with a way or an app or something else we're utilizing together, obviously to me, it'd be better and more beneficial for everyone.
So,
Okay, I'll
to
let Grant. I'll let Grant have this one then.
yeah, so to answer that question, we actually do utilize Buildertrend, but not probably to the extent that it can be used, like you're referring to. So like in Buildertrend, you can automate everything. So basically you build out your customer portfolio, and then as far as like scheduling and stuff, the production manager can schedule out on, when that job's, going to be done. You can set up automations. So it sends them emails like, hey, thanks for your order. Here's when you're scheduled, stuff like that. And then as let's say, weather permits, a delay, so then you go back in there, you move their schedule back, and then obviously they get an email, hey, dude, weather, it's been
Right.
pushed back 2 weeks. The issue that we have with that is being that, and we're not probably a year out, but let's say if we're anywhere between 3 to 6 months out and we have a lot of delays because of weather, or, maybe crew members get hurt or whatever like that. The
Sure.
only issue that we have with that is people get frustrated because now they think it's an excuse if you send them a bunch of them.
Sure.
So there's a happy medium in between there. Where we really utilize Buildertrend though is for our employees. So obviously, like Paul talked about before, we pay on the percentage to the foreman. But as far as like the hands and stuff like that, we use it for the time clock feature because it actually pings exactly where their location is when they're clocking in. So I know if they're clocking in at home or if they're clocking in on the job site.
Right.
So we do utilize some of it, just probably not quite all of it. That'll probably change as we go down the road. We were just kind of looking at a few other like systems like, Marlamar obviously will do a lot of that stuff for you as far as like automations and updating your customers as far as like timelines and stuff like that too. And we'll kind of look at that. What day is Marlamar again, Scott?
Marketing.
It's
Thursday.
tomorrow.
I'm
Thursday,
gonna
sorry.
jump in and just tell you quickly on my end.
Okay.
The more and more you look at this stuff, the better chances of if you have one person that can handle it. What I mean by that is shared Google Drive or OneDrive or Dropbox, doesn't matter. People could put this information together and get it to the production team, if you will, the day
Right.
it's supposed to go out. So you're still going to need a manager. It's not going to be automated. That's, the big thing is like, you could try to find this amazing program, and Grant and I have talked with a company called, Force Manager. You can get everything integrated you want to. You just got to pay a lot of money for it.
Right.
So it still comes down to your production guy making sure that this packet of information is good to go. So the way we set it up right away this year is to have a PDF with the hover on it. That's separate. And then the agreement with the photos, that's separate. And then these would be emailed to the crew foreman by the production manager for what they had to get done for that certain week or month of time. And then it's
Sure.
just called a production packet. And that came from Ted. He called it a production packet, which is just the information you need to get production done. However, as far as not having like a person involved, I haven't seen anything like that because I don't think it would exist. Because what happens if like for us, people go down, well, typically in the past, I'm in Arizona or go to California or go to Florida. Okay, you send me this production packet to do this job, but they're not home. What do I do? Okay, as an installer, you have to be smart enough to be like, as a foreman, I can't do this job, so I need another job. So there's still going to have to be, I don't see any way around of having to continuously have a manager and someone that understands on how they get the information. So that's a really, really, really tough part, because you could put, depends on how your crews are trained. And I don't mean to elaborate on this in so much detail, but I've thought about this a lot. And if you have each of your crews, like on, say, Google Drive, use that as example. You have 5 crews, you have your production manager put their next 10 jobs in there, and it's their job to schedule them. Holy shit, that's fantastic. Do you think they're going to be able to do that? For the most part, you'd like to expect that they would, right?
Right.
So you have it, you don't have to do shit. You already have the production packet ready for them. Okay, this is what you need to get the job done. Someone has to follow up with them to make sure it gets done, right? Or why is this job that was sold in June supposed to be done or installed by November, but you did these in-town ones first? There's so many things that could happen, and there's so many rules that you can put in place. It's insane.
Right.
So that's why it all comes down to, pretty much, if you're running that thing, you're going to have to be a babysitter. It always comes down to that.
Mm-hmm. No, and that's good. That just what you talked about there, that's a lot of, there's a lot of good ideas and concepts in there that we're not doing. So, there's just with email.
Well, it's just a shared drive to where they get a little bit more of accountability and responsibility to follow suit. If you have that, you put on them, say, hey, because you're doing this, I'm going to give you an extra $1 an hour. Can you do that? Can you handle this? Oh yeah, for sure I can. Well, you got to see what happens, because as far as our experiences, it's very difficult to schedule, but if you could take more off your plate in scheduling and have your installers schedule to a certain extent with jobs that are already prefabbed by your production manager, it's going to be a lot easier, because you know that these 50 jobs need to get done. They're ready to go. Here's the hover, here's the pictures, here's the contract. What else do you need? Well, like what else would you want?
Yeah, exactly. But that's a good way of explaining how you guys do it, though. I mean, we're still doing paper carbon copies and stuff like that I'm trying to get away from. But obviously using Hover is going to make it so that I can get to that next step. To have, first step is getting everything digital, and that's what I'm hoping Hover will help out with the most. And then, making a new process so that people do have that information and it's all ready and available to them before the job starts.
And trust me, doing this as long as we have been trying to work this out, there's never going to be a finished product, if you will. Everything is moving and grooving. You need to make sure that you make it better as you go along. There's going to be trials and tribulations along the process, because you're going to have people that are like, why are we doing this? You have to make sure that they know the value behind it. If they don't know the value of why they're given emailing a production packet where they have all the information in there, if they don't know that value, then you might as well just go back to paper. We've had that. We're going through the same thing right now.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Sorry to interrupt, Grant. I just
No, you're good.
I'm pretty passionate about this part, because we've been trying to put together a lot of stuff that supports it. So it's been a challenge.
Well, that's just it, and that's something that having all the dealers kind of get in to try to help you guys too. I mean, you got a lot of other things going on outside of just figuring out a digital way to keep production informed, just as easy as it is with sales. So that's why I think it's something we should talk about in this kind of a setting with multiple people on, because there is a lot of individual things that dealers do that isn't a nationwide thing, but with the capabilities now, I think we can bring a lot of that in, and people can show what they do and give examples to other dealers to make it, make everyone successful with it. And that's the other cool part about this, digital conference we're having. We can share that information, where a lot of times in person, you don't really have that capability, where now everything's right in front of you, right? So if you're sitting at across the table from someone, you have to go through and do this. Well, you could be doing this meeting and you can say, hey, I got something to contribute here. And it's just, you have it all right here. So I think this is a benefit we got to use too.
It 100% in my mind will add to the communication between everybody. I think it'll help with, I know everybody, I'm sure, has aspects where there's communication that gets lost, or the he said, she said game. I think it'll actually grow that and help it and reduce that factor. From my aspect, it's going to be 100% beneficial once everything can get rolling. It's just the process and time that it takes to get it all done and everybody on the same page and trained up.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, and I think that, well, and that's kind of why I made that comment, today, like, I'm going to call people out. I mean, I'm not actually going to do that, but, this is a great time. We're not on a big stage, we don't have lights shining down on us with a microphone. This should be a lot easier for people to open up and in my opinion, and talk, because I mean, it's just basically, you in front of, this. I mean, you can't even see, yourself or whatever kind of type deal. So I was kind of hoping more people would speak up, but maybe as we do more of this, people will get more comfortable in doing it. I mean, I think we've gotten more feedback. This is definitely the most people we've ever had as far as on this panel before that have actually jumped in, because normally we just kind of do this in the evening and like Scott said, over a few drinks or whatever and around the table kind of type things. So
no, it's a good precedent we're setting right now, because like we just do these every month. It's real easy. Do them every month for an hour. Whoop-de-doo. What are we doing? Trying to figure out more about what we're doing and help each other out. That's the whole thing, is we can't be crying about how production communicates with customers if we can't communicate amongst ourselves and get better, right?
Well, right. And,
Right.
and I mean, going forward, I mean, we can introduce things that we want, but I mean, like Grant, the best thing about like when I talk to Grant and Scott at the same time or anybody else is, you know, I have something that works for me and I see it in the field where that aspect works. Then all of a sudden Grant may have some other thing that he's found. Now we're going to use that aspect. We're going to build off of that. I mean, the one thing that needs to stay and grow positive is we're always looking to grow and better everybody, not just ourselves. Like I'm not looking to steal things from Grant just to make my own thing good. It's going to benefit him. It's going to benefit me. And we're always game to see who wants to make things better and bigger. That's the main goal here, right? So why wouldn't we all want to get to that point together?
Yeah.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes.
So when and how could we come up with a way to eliminate so many steps for warranties, royalties, all of that? I mean, it's like, I feel like I'm inputting all that information like 3 or 4 times into Market Sharp, and then I have to put it into royalties and then print the warranties. I mean, like, there has to be some kind of system where we could
Yeah.
export, import. I don't know. Is that an option?
That's an
Or
option down the
you
road.
guys are
We have to-
brainy enough to figure that out? I'm
we
not.
have to make we have to make sure that, and Deb and Elizabeth very frustrated with how our warranty database has been going. But here's the thing: if you're talking about having databases communicate, right? That's what we're talking about.
Right.
So that is an option. It definitely is, because anything with an API, as well as Grant and Chris know, you can tie it together with another system. So the idea, when I asked Andy about this, the guy that's doing our warranty stuff, who has been subpar as of late,
Well,
once that gets completed, we should have the ability to communicate an API with your Market Sharp database and attach the warranty record directly to your Market Sharp account under that customer record. So that is the goal. I'm just telling you, it just might take a while.
Sure.
So in the interim, I mean, you either have to access both databases or have somebody in the office just, as soon as that warranty gets complete, just chuck it over and attach it to Market Sharp, which, Jesus, I mean, I've been doing this since 2011. I mean, just say 9-10 years, and that's pretty much with every system. So if we could like spend money and build our own, right now it's cost
to me,
efficient to just do it separately right now.
To me, is I feel like I enter everything into Market Sharp, then I have to enter that same information to make the warranty, and then I have to enter that same information into the spreadsheet for the royalties. So I feel like I'm doing it well, and then I have QuickBooks too, and so I actually do it 4 times, the same information. So I don't know. I just feel like there should be some way to streamline that for that. I don't know, save time, obviously, but it's just me too. If I'd have somebody else doing that for me, then it wouldn't bug me as much.
Well, I mean,
On your-
it's not like you're selling either. So
Right.
I
And on
know.
your end, the last thing you said there, Leanne, was QuickBooks. And I'm not 100% privy on the other 3 programs with the royalties and all that are, but I do know from a accounting background standpoint with QuickBooks functionality and how it talks, there may be a way, if it's looked into, to where you can enter everything in QuickBooks and it'll distribute out to those other programs for you. That could
Yeah.
be the first avenue to look at to a degree.
the only problem is we're working on trying to get the royalty reports to automate within our system first. So there's not a lot of information I have on that, other than it's not done yet.
Gotcha.
So like,
I know we've discussed it before
it's
too.
a
I think I've
work in progress, like anything.
always.
Like I wish that I could sell at $1.2 million, but
Oh yeah.
unfortunately,
You
I'm
would
terrible
do
at
that in
selling.
6
Scott, shush.
Well-
You gotta shush, bud. Don't jump the gun.
There's
Well,
only a
one
few
thing-
people in here.
Yeah, one thing I think, I know there's only like 9 of us, but still, it's a good conversation if no one has anything else to do. I'm quarantined, so I'm like loving this. I'm set up at home,
Hey, bud.
you know.
too.
So But yeah, so anyway, I think, one of the things that kind of triggered, and again, this is kind of outside of my spectrum for what you're talking about, Leanne, but that, that part of all the dealers helping even headquarters, because there's a lot of times that I see it's like the pressure is always on you guys at headquarters to kind of get all this information. And is there ways now, I mean, with how easy we can communicate, like we're saying with Zoom calls and transferring that information that's all digitalized, there's stuff that, individual, dealers, there's times if I can help the whole system, and it takes some of the workload off of headquarters, but we have the backup or the hey, like, come and help us, we're all in this together type of thing from headquarters. Is there a way to make that work, amongst everyone? So, hey, like, if I'm going to come in and contribute to what we're doing, for a full system for everybody, like warranties, and bring in ideas and maybe bring in help structure some of these things, is there a way we can do that now that we couldn't do it before, just because everything is digital?
Well, the communication piece is there. We would just need to take a look at it. That's the thing, is like, if you spend enough money, you can get anything built. So that's the thing, is like, most companies that I talk to, a lot of companies, Grant does, Chris has, you have, everybody on the call has, everybody offers is the sun and the moon and being better than everybody else all the time. The big thing here is that there is no, if there was that solution, do you not think we would already have that solution?
Oh,
So
yeah.
Right.
It's something being built. And we discussed that last year at the meeting, is like, what are you looking for as an ABC Seamless dealer? It's one functionality, maybe application or device, or let's call it an app for easy purposes, that communicates across all departments in your organization. That would be the preferred. We pay for this service. We have it. ABC owns it. Done. Now, do we have the money to do that? Here's the thing. It's good for everybody to bring up the idea that we should look into building something like that. But see, Grant and I looked at that Force Manager right away, and the initial cost for what we'd want is probably around $70,000 to $100,000, and that's on the light end. So if we have all those communicating together, all your reviews, all your market sharp, all your warranty stuff, media center, ducks, everything communicating to one device or one individual login, that's one thing you pay for. But then each individual user would be responsible for paying for their license.
Right.
So is it possible? Yes, it is. However, this would have to be, above my pay grade, figuring out what are we willing to invest in this and how do we want to develop it. But at that point, if that time were to come, we would for sure make sure that anybody that's invested into ABC Seamless has the ability to have their platform to tell us what they want out of the service. So I think that would be the best answer for now.
Well, was your question, Brendan, more towards like just maybe getting together more often to share ideas?
Well, yeah, it's just one of those things where we still, hopefully with having these sessions or the Leap call or the Zoom calls like we're doing, the more monthly that we can bring up that topic of things that are kind of underlying, but kind of keep that, so that conversation is being had instead of every year. Well, then we finally get together as, for the national conference and we shoot out our opinions, and then we're not really following through. And I know that in the past it's hard, because how do you get each one of the regions to have these meetings and then to pass up that information? But now with even the, it kind of bypasses those regionals when we get more and more people from each region in on the calls, in on the monthly Zoom calls. I think that's something that will help this all go through too.
Even if they were done even just quarterly, if you meet 4 times a year basically, and to kind of collectively get together and share, strengths, weaknesses, where people are struggling, where they need help or stuff like that. I think that would be a huge benefit, I think, to everybody. I think really the biggest thing that I see where we maybe struggle, maybe as a whole, all ABCs is, as you see it, a lot of people for whatever reason just are not comfortable with jumping in and talking. And it would be nice if we can get over that hump and, you know, open it up so people feel more comfortable in sharing, you know, our ideas or just talking in general. And it doesn't matter if you're, you know, maybe one of the smallest dealers or the biggest dealer. To me, I think any information is valuable. And obviously anyone can learn from anybody. So yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think that's should happen. And maybe as time went on, maybe more people would open up and be more comfortable with, you know, sharing and talking. So I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, it is going to take some time for people to get used to this type of, you know, I guess not to be, hey, like we're young but the majority of, you know, majority of the dealers, like my dad is getting more and more used to trying to get on Zoom calls. Does he like it? No, but he understands the benefit it is, and it's the way the world's going. So I think, you know, for most of us, or especially for you three that are running this thing, and then myself, I mean, I'm super comfortable with this because this is what we're used to, and I think it's going to be, you know, understanding and helping those older generation of dealers say, hey, like this is a benefit for what we're doing. You know, it's a benefit not only for your franchise, but it's going to be a benefit, you know, in all the way that most of those dealers are accustomed to ABCC was in the major growth days. And if we want to get back to that point of where we're adding franchises and we're making this a national name, that you know, that's all going to build our brand. That's going to build everyone's individual franchise. The more and more we can put the precedence back onto that. And I think, you know, that's something that Ted's, you know, wanting to attack too. And as this grows, I mean, that's the whole point of everyone getting together. Because if everyone has their individual things per dealer, that's great. But the more we can centralize and the more we can work off of each other, it's just going to build everything internally for the whole franchise system. You know,
absolutely. Yep, I agree.
Yeah. Too bad you weren't joining these quarterly meetings when we had them, though. Love you.
Oh, me?
Yeah, we've had them in the, you know, quarterly meetings pretty much the last few years. So
I know. Hey, but I've been on a lot of calls this year. Man, I'm trying to get back into it.
Yeah, you just mean a lot more to me now by actually coming, bud.
Well, I know, but that's what I'm trying to enhance here by, you know, interacting. Because like I said, I don't mind it. I like talking on these things, and I think the more and more people that talk, it works.
Yeah, I remember the first time I met you. You were a young boy, came over to the round table and had a great time, and then I lost you for 5 years.
It's been a good 5 years though. Now I got some stuff figured out, so I can pass on my knowledge base. I had to go learn a lot more, Scott.
You had to go back to the install world for a bit, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I had to see it from the outside perspective.
Why aren't you showing us your camera? Are you all dressed up?
No, you want to see it? I'm in my business attire here. What can't I open this thing up, man?
PJs.
Just let me put my mask on before you come up.
Yeah. Why can't I open this thing up? I can raise my.
That's okay.
You guys don't want to see my man. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
See? There it is. The home office. I don't have these. Hey, come on. When do I get this cool background?
It looks like a gym.
This is my house.
Wow.
So yeah, can I get the cool fancy 42nd anniversary? I mean, come on, help a guy. I even grew the mustache for the national conference here.
Yeah, we'll send it over to you.
So, well, cool, fellas. Well, yeah, I'll be very vocal because, like I said, I got nothing else to do right now. I'm stuck here. So
that's awesome. Well, yeah, please chime in. You know, we got the sales panel, we got the marketing panel. What else do we got?
Don't be scared.
I'm not scared.
Yeah, jump in at any time when we're doing this.
I think you're really like the digital pres tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that digital presentation is sweet.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it from everybody, but you know, just over here in Duluth, we don't get a lot of the cool bits that you guys do out there in the old flats, the Western flats, we'll call it.
Yeah, it's because we don't like you.
I'm working on that.
Oh, he didn't like you until you grew that mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Now he's worried that yours looks better than his.
Yeah,
we had a survey.
This isn't even a mustache. This is a cat.
Before we went into quarantine, we had a survey because I was going to do one-on-ones with all my guys, and we had like the top 3 things, and I got a couple you know, Brandon's mustache is in those comments. So, you know, that's pretty good. So, but well, so what time is this? This is the meeting number. This is going to be the same meeting number for the whole week, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, good. And we start at 10 tomorrow too. Tomorrow's more of the big day, right? From 10 to 10 to basically 3 o'clock.
Tomorrow on Thursday. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Very cool, guys. Well, just let me know. I'll be here to shoot out some input and help whatever I can do. So
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
no
Thank you,
problem.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
girl.
you.
And guy.
We'll see you guys later.
Okay, we'll see ya.
Did you guys make me the host again?
I did. Yep. You're welcome.
Well, I think I'm
I
gonna
mean,
go eat
thank you.
lunch.
What?
I'm gonna go eat lunch.
Where at?
I don't know yet.
Yeah, I gotta figure that out too. Deb's in here eating food. Smells good.
What is it? What do you gotta get?
She's eating protein bars. That's how hungry I am. They smell good.
All right. Thanks again, guys. You guys talked a lot more than I thought, but that helped me out. I was pretty tired and whatever. So you guys all.
I was kind of surprised we kept it till basically almost noon. I mean, for the good majority of it. So I wasn't
Oh,
sure how long it would go.
Do you understand how many people were on the call?
Yeah.
Like
30,
there was 8 more
34.
people on than yesterday.
Yeah.
It almost got to 40 people
I know.
signed in.
It's pretty awesome. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So we'll go for 50 tomorrow, I guess.
Sounds good.
Hey, you should, and I don't know how hard this would be to do. You should send out a survey at some point and then ask people what they thought.
Well, that'd be simple.
How hard is it to do? It's
Yeah.
like it's real hard.
Yeah, I know.
It's like
Deb said she'd do it. She just volunteered.
Okay, Deb, it's on Deb.
D to the Ebels.
This is kind of
Oh, I think
sweet.
it's
She
really
really
good,
respond.
though. You know, this is the first year that we've done this. So I think, you know, especially for this too, because this is a very like open table kind of type thing. So, you know, not a lot of people obviously spoke. I wish more would, but I get that it's kind of intimidating maybe.
Yeah, but having you guys talking up there is gonna be inviting more to be able to do the same is what I think too. So
Oh, for sure.
what is who's in there? Deb, Elizabeth, Jerry still or no?
Just Deb now.
What did she think?
Deb, what'd you think?
Oh, very good. I learned a lot.
Honest truth, Deb.
Yeah, don't lie to us.
Don't fluff it.
Here, come back here, Deb. I'll move. so you can talk
Quit
to the mic.
fluffing things.
She's coming. Here she comes.
Don't fluff it.
Don't fluff it.
What? There's a chair there? I thought you were just floating,
Oh,
bud.
it's so crazy.
I get to talk in the chair. No,
Hey.
I thought it was great, and I learned a lot of things. So very appreciative of that, and I think it went really well. Looking forward to tomorrow too.
And it was
You
really
guys-
fun too.
You know, it was just carried on. You guys did a really good job. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for being in there.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody else enjoyed it as much. You know, I just usually
Oh,
don't
Jerry.
retain that many people without anybody leaving for that long a time.
No,
That's pretty-
that's the other thing I was thinking about too.
That was
I
pretty
could watch.
crazy.
It was pretty
Very
much
good.
30 plus people the entire time. So.
And
Jerry
Jared,
thought it was good.
There's
Jerry thought it was good too. He was sitting here laughing a lot too, and then he was making fun of Tyler a little bit. It was great. It was awesome.
there's still 3 people on the call.
Yeah, I'm guessing they just don't know that their thing's on.
Oh yeah, they do.
But
So
All right, you guys ready to end this?
Yep. meeting adjourned.
All right,
Back to Denver.
Christopher, when do you want to sync up?
I got a lot of work to do. I gotta get the rest of all those slides done before the photos. So give me a little bit here. I'll let you know.
Just give me a call.
Yep, I just gotta finish all those slides out. So I'll let you know. Shouldn't take me too long, but you know, there's just a lot.
Yeah, I do.